In this episode, we're checking out 15 guys who I think will have massive breakout seasons from a real life and fantasy perspective. Let's discuss breakouts. Let's go and win some leagues. G'day guys, I'm D-Mac from NBA Fantasy Bible here on the Believe in Fantasy Network. As I said, we're going to go through my breakout players for this season. A lot of these guys are already on your radar. I know that there's no real surprises here, but what I'm going to do is take you through why I think they're going to be breakouts from a fantasy perspective mainly, but also from a real life perspective, but also let you know where I think they should be taken. There's a lot of hype guys in this group. We'll go through those shortly, but just be mindful that we don't overreach to grab these guys just because they're so hyped up at the moment. We are 9 days away from the start of the season, which means we are in the midst of draft season. Hopefully you've had a few go well and plenty more still to come. But yeah, we're going to take you through our breakouts. But firstly, I'm just going to let you know that just the other day, the NBA released the GM annual survey results, which makes for some interesting reading. So I'll take you through that now. So just have a look here. It's on the NBA website. Just a few things to note as well. Some predictions. Nothing really crazy. OKC, 80%. So quick maths, that's 24 of the 30 GMs think that OKC will go back to back. So no great surprise there. Going through, yep. So Cleveland likely to end up on top in the East, and OKC obviously in the West. The other survey results, who will win the MVP? So Nikola Jokic, no great surprise there, but Doncic second in SGA to back up from last season, 8% of votes. If you were to start a franchise today and you could sign any NBA player, who would it be? Victor Wembanyama, 83%, no great surprise whatsoever there. SGA second with 13%, but Victor Wembanyama, just the alien, just a freak of nature. But yeah, of course, that's a very obvious one. This one's an interesting one. Which player forces opposing coaches to make the most adjustments? Last season, it was Doncic. This season, most of the GMs are voting for Nikola Jokic. He's just so complete. His IQ is so far surpassing any other player in the NBA. So many adjustments need to be made by opposing coaches just because of Jokic. So a lot to think about in terms of Denver, and Cam Johnson's now on that team as well. So he's going to get a lot of open threes. Now, this is the one that we've all been waiting for, and it's pertinent to this episode. So which player is most likely to have a breakout season in season 25-26? Number one, Amen Thompson, 30%. So that's quick maths, 9 of 30, 30%. I think let me know if I'm wrong. 9 GMs think that Amen Thompson will have a breakout season. We saw him, and we know this in fantasy circles, but we saw him break out at probably the middle of last season. He took the starting position. Jabari Smith Jr. Was injured, and then Amen Thompson never relinquished his role as a starter. We know that Fred VanVleet is now also injured pretty much for the entire season, if not the entire season. So Amen Thompson just has a humongous opportunity to take it that one step further this season. And we've seen that being reflected in ADPs. And we'll go through that shortly because Amen Thompson, a favorite of mine, and I couldn't not mention him in this just because, yep, we've seen him break out, but I think he can go that one step further, not just in real life, but also in fantasy. But a few other interesting names here. Brandon Miller, who we will also discuss in this episode. Assar Thompson, so Amen's twin. Huge hype at the moment, huge hype. And a few other names on this list that are on the hype train, and I'm on the hype train on a couple of these guys. But again, we just need to be mindful that we're not overreaching, overextending ourselves and going too high in fantasy drafts to get some of these guys. Now, just wanted to open up whilst we're talking about Amen Thompson. Let's start off with Amen Thompson. Now, before we get into it, I just wanted to clarify what I define as a breakout in this sense, in this concept, in this episode tonight. But a breakout for me is someone who will increase their fantasy value significantly this season compared to last season. So that, I guess, removes guys like Victor Wembanyama, who a lot of GMs believe can take another step up this season. But from a fantasy perspective, he's already in the top 3 discussion. So I'm not going to put him in this list. Another guy is Jalen Johnson. He's already been taken in the second round. And we saw that last season as well. Amen Thompson is also being now taken in the second round of drafts, but we we didn't get that value last season. This is why I just wanted to highlight this. And again, you're saying this is no surprise. We know this, DMAC. I just wanted to validate what we're all thinking, what we're all seeing, but also putting some perspective on things. The ADP here across all three major platforms. But have a looking at last season, 24-25. In 9-cat, Amen Thompson ranked 54th. Thank you to Basketball Monster as well for these rankings. In points leagues, 59. So not quite as effective in points leagues, but still an outstanding contributor. ADP coming into this season. This is the current ADP as we stand 9 days away from opening night. Yahoo has him at 25.1. ESPN, 33.6. And again, that we know that's skewed towards points leagues, but be mindful of that as well if you are playing in ESPN. And Fantrax, the hoop heads, 23.8. He's just going further and further up that draft board. I don't think it's egregious. I don't think it's wrong, but I still think he's going to have a breakout. But be mindful. Having a look at the statistics from last season, outstanding. As I mentioned, he started middle of the season. So he started 42 of the 69 games last season. He put up some fantastic numbers, but I think he can take that one step further and help his Rockets team to some glory this season alongside a KD. He's just so explosive. The playmaking skills just make him such an intriguing prospect. I always thought, even in his rookie season, he could be a top 40 dynasty prospect. I didn't think he would reach these heights so quickly. And we're now seeing some talk around his brother, Assar, being in a similar mold. And of course, their athletic prowess and their body type is very similar. But particularly with Freddie VanVleet, no longer there. Amen Thompson is going to have more facilitating duties. And yes, people say he's not a traditional point guard. Defenses will sag off him, yes, until he develops that beautiful outside shot, which he is working on. He is still not the best in terms of half-court offense, but in transition, I don't think there's many guys better than him in the open court. I think that's going to help him. He's going to work really nicely with our friend Sengun as well. Sengun's just also going to find Amen. So that 1-2 punch is going to be just outstanding. And I can't wait to see how that all plays into their overall ranking come end of season. I think they got a real contender. Now they have KD as that veteran presence as well. So I think it's valid. I think it's justified for him to be taken in this range. So I'm okay with it. Let me know what you think of Amen Thompson in this range, but I'm definitely okay with it. But speaking of Assar Thompson, just wanted to bring him to the stage. Assar Thompson, huge hype train at the moment. 24-25 rank, obviously didn't play as many minutes as you'd like to. And I'll bring up those statistics now. So you can see that he played 23.9 minutes per game. He started 48 of 59 games last season. But it's the 23.9 minutes that's telling for me. I think now that he's just got greater opportunity, I think he can edge towards that 28, 29, 30 minute mark. And the depth chart behind him is so that he's got Karis LeVert behind him. He's got Javonte Green as that veteran presence. They'll be rotation players, but I can't see anyone really taking his minutes away from him. May see a little bit of Ron Holland, but he's probably going to back up a little bit of Tobias Harris at the 4. Jaden Ivey comes back into that team as well, so that'll be interesting to see how he molds and how he fits with the rest of the team. But I really think Assar Thompson is just going to develop nicely this season. Again, very similar type of defensive profile as his brother, and I think these guys can probably be the top 2 or within the top 5 perimeter defenders in the league very, very quickly. And you saw those numbers last season as well. Just pretty crazy sort of stuff. So from the field, he's shooting at 50%, over 50% across his career, but 53.5% last season. The rebounds outstanding, 5.8 rebounds per game across his short period. Of course, he started out last season on the back foot. He had come back from blood clots, so of course it took a bit of time for him to ramp up. I think that he's definitely over that. He's supposedly been working on his outside shot, and we've heard that so many times, but I'm super excited. It's the steals, it's the blocks, it's that defensive presence, but also the talk of him refining that shot. I think and he does have that playmaking ability. We haven't seen it in full force at this stage, but he does have that from his college days. So I'm really excited to see where Assar Thompson is going to head come end of season, but his ADP at the moment is 87.1 on Yahoo. Very, very much on the hype train, a lot of us. ESPN, there's still some value there at 107.9 and Fantrax 83.4. I think he beats this. I hesitate to grab him too much earlier than what this ADP is at the moment, but I still think there's some value there. So I'm okay with getting Assar at this ADP at this stage because I think he can be a top 50, top 60 type guy. The only thing that's really putting me off is the free throws. But if he can fix up that efficiency from the free throw line, I think the world's his oyster. I think he can be as good as his brother. Probably not as quickly as his brother, but I think he can be as good as his brother. Again, guys, let me know what you think of that. But Assar definitely excites me this season. Now, Assar's teammate, Jalen Duren, another exciting prospect going into year 4. 24-25 was somewhat disappointing at the start of the season, but he still finished with a 9-cat ranking of 78. So again, thank you to Basketball Monster. Points league is 83. This season, solid mid-round center. I think he was 9th in the league for double-doubles, so 41 double-doubles. I can't see Isaiah Stewart getting too many more minutes. A lot of the apprehension or a lot of the minutes at that 26.1 minute mark last season, a lot of it was foul trouble. So he just needs to be mindful of that. He needs to look after himself. I know he's trying to be more of a defensive stopper. You see those blocks ticking over 1.1 blocks last season, which is an improvement over the previous season, but he just needs to look after those blocks. There were some niggling injuries as well last season, so that could have played a part in the reduced minutes. But 26.1 minutes, I can definitely see that going up towards that probably 30-minute mark. Again, looking at the depth chart, so he's got Isaiah Stewart obviously behind him, and Paul Reed is still there as another one of those backup guys. But I can still see at least 28 minutes per game for Jalen Duren, which for me brings him into top 50 calculations. Now, very quickly, guys, if you want to crush your draft and absolutely dominate your league, consider becoming a Believe in Fantasy MVP community member. So Robin and the crew, including myself and Matty G, will help you out. You'll get access to priority DM and email responses. We're so prompt with that. Exclusive MVP Discord access with all of our experts. Like I said, I'm part of that crew. Don't forget to visit believeinfantasy.com. You won't regret it. Next one, guys, is Brandon Miller, widely regarded as one of the most offensive, talented guys, young guys in the league. So we haven't seen the best of him, and I think this is his breakout season. Look at his 24-25 rank, 75 per Basketball Monster, 66 in points, and it comes down to efficiency. We'll get to that shortly, but current ADP, Yahoo 53.1, ESPN 99.1, and Fantrax 56.3. I'm fine with it. I think it's appropriate, and I'm pretty sure he's actually going to smash that. So grab him in the middle rounds. Let's look at some of his stats from his career so far. So 2 years, going into his 3rd year, of course, but it's the field goal percentage. You look at that field goal percentage of 42.8 across his career, 40.3% last season. That's a real killer. But for him to actually still be ranked 75 in 9-cat is outstanding. So if he can just bring that up just a smidgen, I think he smashes top 50. I really do. And I think, in the future, top 30 is not beyond him. He's been compared to the likes of elite Paul George. Obviously, Paul George right now is nothing to be compared against and compared to. But, man, Paul George in his heyday was a first rounder. Don't know if Brandon Miller gets to that point ever, but if he's being compared to the likes of Paul George at his best, you know that Brandon Miller is a guy for me. The next one is Shaedon Sharpe. Just his raw athleticism and his scoring ability just bodes well for his overall fantasy value this season. There's no longer Anthony Simons, which allows for more usage of Shaedon Sharpe, also for Deni Avdija. We'll get to him shortly. I think Shaedon Sharpe can take a step up again this season. There's no Scoot Henderson as well to start the season. I think that also helps him. It helps, of course, Drew Holiday, but Shaedon Sharpe will put up more shots because of that. Now, just looking at some of his stats from last season, we'll bring that up. Nothing outstanding. I still think he's quite raw, but I think he can be that prolific scorer for Portland. I think they need that. Deni Avdija can do that to a certain degree, but I think Shaedon Sharpe just has that raw athletic prowess that he can get to the rim if need be, but he can shoot the three ball as well. 33% on the three ball can improve. So I think he can improve from that perspective. His effective field goal percentage is 52%. Not too bad. Field goal percentage of 45%. Again, he can improve on that as well, just because he can get to the rim and finish really strongly. Steals is of concern. That has room to improve. 0.7 at the moment. I think he can get to 1 steal a game. Again, if he uses his athletic ability, I think he can do that. He should be getting more rebounds as well, but I'm not banking on it. But I think just at his current ADP of 96.6, 104.6 on ESPN, 91.7 on Fantrax, I think that's the right area. You look at his rank from last season, 162 and 104 in points, 162 and 9-cat, 104 in points. Again, a little bit of deficiency with that shooting as well. So I think he's got great room for improvement just with the additional usage that he should get this season. So again, he's one of my breakouts. Next one, Shaedon Sharpe's teammate, Deni Avdija. A lot of hype around him, and I think it's for good reason. A bit of a late bloomer as well. If you look at his statistics, he hasn't always been this guy, but in going into his 6th year, I think he can be a top 50 guy. And we saw at the back end of last season, he was just going from strength to strength. He was contributing at both ends of the court. The only thing that really let him down was the free throws and the turnovers. And you know me, guys, I don't care about turnovers. I disregard those. The free throws are of concern. He's inconsistent, but it's not egregiously bad. If we again look at those stats from last season, 78% from the free throw line is not terrible. We're just hoping it's not on high volume. So 78% from the free throw line. From field goal, 47.6%. Very, very solid. 3.9 assists, a facilitator as well as a burgeoning offensive talent as well. And he can get it done defensively. 1.0 steals, 0.4 blocks. Going to have extra usage. The same as what I said about Shaedon Sharpe applies to Deni Avdija. So top 50, I do not hesitate whatsoever. 109 last season. I think he smashes that, obviously. In points league, 75th. ADP at the moment, 52.8 on Yahoo, 73.3 on ESPN, and 46.8. Again, it's the Fantrax hoop heads getting ahead of the game. They know talent where they see it. So I think the 46.8 is about where you want to grab him. I grabbed him today at pick 45, and I'm fine with it. I think he can beat that. Not comprehensively, but I think he gets that value and probably beats it just by a little bit. But don't hesitate. Have confidence in Deni Avdija this season. Next one, Donovan Clingan. So Shaedon Sharpe and Deni Avdija's teammate going into his 2nd season. Obviously struggled in his rookie season at the start of the season. DeAndre Ayton was still there. Robert Williams was still playing some time. Robert Williams is still on the roster, by the way. So keep that one in mind. But he got the starting role at the end of the season. We saw some of the upside. The issue with him was the conditioning. He wasn't able to run out games. He wasn't playing a lot of minutes, but we'll get to that shortly. But last season's rankings, 9-cat, 160th in points, 169th. This season, a lot of hype around him. No more Ayton, obviously. Robert Williams, we're not sure of his health status at this point in time. Yang Hen Sen, the rookie, I don't think he's NBA ready at this stage. He's showing flashes, but I just don't think he'll get those consistently high minutes. So I think it's Donovan Clingan's role. I think he can edge up towards that 30-minute point per game. I don't know if he can run out games at this stage, but he's come out in the media and said that he has been working on his conditioning. So if someone does come out with that confidence, I'd expect that he does improve on that. But the ADP at this stage, Yahoo, 86.5, ESPN, 127.8. So keep that one in mind. ESPN plays as well. That's, right for the picking. And Fantrax, 88.9. I think he beats this. I'm pretty confident that he will beat this. Again, looking at last season, limited minutes. He did start in 37 games. And in those 37 games, he averaged 24 and a half minutes, 7.9 points, 10 rebounds, 2.1 blocks. Amazing. 1.6 assists and 0.6 steals. It's just about getting those minutes up. We saw that when he was sort of run off the court, and I remember one game particularly against the Lakers, he just looked gassed and he looked average. And I was high on him because there was no Ayton. Rob Williams had just gotten himself injured for the billionth time. And I thought, here we go, free runway. Clingan really disappointed. He was still worthy of holding, and I did hold him until the end of the season, and he helped me win a couple of leagues. But I think he can be a game changer and a league winner this season. So don't hesitate to grab him around that ADP. I have seen him go a little bit earlier, and I'm okay with it. Just I would prefer to grab him around this point. So particularly those that are playing on ESPN, huge value. And those that are playing on Yahoo and Fantrax, I'm still okay with this point, 86 to 88 mark. The next sophomore I want to talk about, Buzelis. Huge hype train in this preseason. He had an outstanding first game of the preseason. Amazing, and everyone was on it. Second game was really disappointing, and you'll get that. A little bit of inconsistency from a guy going into the second season, but I think the upside is high enough for us to grab him. I do think that he can have an outstanding breakout season. Looking at last season, 24-25, he was ranked 256th in 9cat, 274th in points. Obviously, didn't start the majority of games, and we'll get to that shortly. Current ADP, Yahoo 92.4, ESPN 130.1, huge value there, and Fantrax 93.0. Looking at his stats from last season, obviously in his rookie season, he started a lot of games come end of season. It's looking like the Bulls want to prioritize him, and about time that they wanted to prioritize the younger guys. But he started in 31 of those 80 games, and he looked good. There were times where he was a must-roster guy. There are also times where you had to throw him back on to the waiver wires, unfortunately. I don't think we're going to get that this season. I think he's going to be a must-roster guy to the point where I just saw in a league that I'm drafting in as we speak, it's a slow draft, he went at pick 61. So that sort of tells you where we're at with Buzelis. The upside is high. They're going to look for him at every opportunity. He's alongside of a pass-first type of guy like Josh Giddey. I think he'll work well alongside of Kobe White as well. He's got the threes, he's got the points, the offensive caliber as well. He can also do it on the defensive end. So 0.4 steals is nothing to write home about. It's 0.9 blocks with that upside in just 18.9 minutes per game last season. I think he can average 1.5 blocks per game this season quite easily. So I'm okay with him at this ADP, but you're going to have to go a little bit earlier because the hype is so high. If you want him, you're probably going to have to go in the 70s or 80s. And to be honest, I'm all right with it. I think he can return that value. Ideally, you get him at ADP, but in competitive leagues, it's not going to happen. Understand your league mates. If you think you can get him at this point, you grab him. You don't wait another round, you grab him at this point. If you have a very competitive league, that's where you may need to go around early, but don't hesitate whatsoever. I love Buzelis this season. The next second-year big man, Alex Sarr of the Washington Wizards. Last year, 9cat, 164th, and in points, 102nd. A lot of hype this season, obviously going to his second season. No Jonas Valanciunas. Not a great deal of depth behind Alex Sarr. I think it's his team. It's a very youthful team, and the ADP reflects that. Yahoo at 80.8, ESPN 97.6, and Fantrax 78.0. It was the shooting efficiency that really let him down last season. I think he can turn that around, but field goal percentage for a big man, 39.4%. He had no hesitation shooting the three ball, but shooting it at a 30% clip from downtown wasn't getting it done. The free throws were of concern as well, 67.9% as well from the free throw line, but it's the blocks, it's the defensive upside. He does have that length, that versatility that's really exciting. I don't think there's going to be too much that's going to stop him this season. In terms of the depth chart behind him, he's got Marvin Bagley and Tristan Vukcevic. So I think he's got probably close to 30 minutes in him, 28 to 30 minutes quite easily, where in his rookie season, he was only playing 27.1 minutes per game. So I think breakout season for Alex Sarr, but buyer beware, it's the efficiency. And unless he improves that efficiency, I can't see him being a top 50, but I think this ADP is okay. I'd much prefer guys like Buzelis and Donovan Clingan, if we're going to be honest here, but I still think Alex Sarr has a breakout season. Yet another sophomore big man, this time Miami Heat's Kel'el Ware. 24-25, he had a 9cat ranking of 126, which was very respectable, seeming that he didn't start the majority of games. We'll get there shortly. Points leagues, 154th. Current ADP, and it's sort of slipping, and I'll take you through that very shortly. You're probably already aware, but in Yahoo, 85.6, ESPN, 127.4, and in Fantrax, 96.1. Looking at his numbers from last season, he started 36 of 64 games. He was the starting center, played in the front court alongside of Bam towards the back end of the season. He looked terrific. In those 36 starts, he averaged 10.8 points, 10.0 rebounds, 1.3 assists, 0.7 steals, and 1.3 blocks, shooting pretty efficiently from the field, also hitting 0.6 threes, but from the field, 53.6%. Free throws could be improved, and I think there's scope for improvement there. Now, the biggest issue that we have with Kel'el Ware, of course, if you have been following along in the preseason, Spo has decided that he's going to be starting on the bench. He's tried to light a fire underneath this young man. Nikola Jovic has come in as his replacement, starting alongside of Bam. And it remains to be seen if we'll see this into the regular season. But even if Kel'el Ware does come off the bench, it could actually be an opportunity for him to have higher usage in that second unit where maybe the ADP is about right. So maybe he doesn't break that door down. But in terms of where he was at last season with his rankings, he's still a breakout for me. So don't be at me going, he's not going to smash this ADP. He may actually, and maybe there's a turn by Spo where he'll rejoin that starting unit. But I still think there's good opportunity for him because of his athletic prowess, because of his range, his mobility, and his ability to rim protect as well. Kel'el Ware, I'm really excited by long term. This season could be frustrating, but I still think he's a top 100 guy for sure, which in my eyes is still a breakout based on last season. Okay, it's the last sophomore big man that I'll talk about as my breakout. Zach Edey, Memphis Grizzlies Zach Edey. So he will start injured to start the season, which is disappointing. Probably the first month of the season. So that gives opportunity to the likes of Jock Landale. Obviously, JJJ is out as well. Brandon Clark is also injured. When Zach Edey does return, I do expect him to start at center for the Memphis Grizzlies. I think he'll probably play close to 26 to 28 minutes per game. Jock Landale will fill in whilst all these guys are injured. The only concern I see is perhaps where they play small ball center. They'll play JJJ there, maybe Santi Dama. They just can't take him out of the lineup because he's just had such a tremendous start to the season. Perhaps that's the way that they go. But I do expect Zach Edey to have a significant role on this team. We saw it at the back end of last season. He had the coach's trust. I think that carries on into this season once he is back from injury. Just looking quickly at his numbers from last season. So started 55 of 66 games. Solid. 58% from the field. 1.3 blocks, 0.5 steals, 8.3 rebounds. He's a behemoth. He's a big guy. And these big guys don't get any smaller on the court as time goes by. So he's going to be so valuable, and getting a guy like him late in drafts is quite difficult where you know that there is going to be a role. Obviously, there's these late round flyers like Neemias Queta, Isaiah Jackson, and Mitchell Robinson, but we still don't know how they're going to integrate into their teams. Are they going to play night to night as well? So I much prefer someone like Zach Edey. If you can stash him, I would do so. And once he does get up to full speed, I think he's going to have quite a dominant season. And again, he's another breakout candidate for me. All right, no more big guys. That's the plethora of sophomore big guys. But now we go and finish off the episode with all these smaller guys. Payton Pritchard, no big surprise here. A lot of people have been talking about Payton Pritchard. Obviously, a heap of usage, a lot of shots to be had with some of their superstars sidelined. So Jason Tatum, by all accounts, he may try to make a comeback this season. I don't think it's going to happen, so I would expect Payton Pritchard to start as well. By all accounts, he will start ahead of Anthony Simons. The one thing of concern is that we haven't seen both of them play alongside of each other in preseason, so we don't know if that's confirmed. But my expectation is Payton Pritchard will start, and I think he'll dominate. I think he'll have an outstanding season. High IQ player, sharp shooter, so efficient. And remember, sixth man of the year, and he did that. He's 79th in NICAT last season, coming off of the bench is absolutely outstanding. So I would expect that he smashes top 50. ADP still presents a lot of value. 71.7 on Yahoo. ESPN is 96.2 and 70.2 on Fantrax. I think he kills that. The only thing that could kill that dream is if he doesn't start. But by all accounts, he will be starting. Just looking at the numbers from last season as well, as we have with all of these guys, he's not a young guy. He's going to his sixth year, but we know that when he does start, he just puts up numbers. And you can see that statistic there. In 17 career starts, he's obviously just putting up shots. He's getting the assists, getting the rebounds, and he's sneaky good at steals as well. But it's the efficiency 46.5% from the field in those 17 starts, 100% from the free throw. Yeah, low volume, but still such an outstanding player. And I think top 50 quite easily. Now, moving on to the next one, whilst we're here, Andrew Nembhard, again, similar situation to Payton Pritchard. Nembhard and the next guy, Bennedict Mathurin, both situations where they'll have extra usage, more opportunities. Nembhard is, again, a high IQ player. He's going to have the ball in his hands a lot more. TJ McConnell is also out with a hamstring injury for the first few weeks of the season. So this gives even more responsibility to Andrew Nembhard, and for that matter, Bennedict Mathurin. I'll bring him to the stage as well. But you can look at those ADPs quite similar. So going back to Nembhard, Yahoo 75.5, ESPN 106.7, Fantrax 94.3. So a bit of disparity between Yahoo and Fantrax. Going to Bennedict Mathurin, Yahoo has him a little bit later, 93.8. ESPN 119 and Fantrax 110. I think both of these guys have breakout seasons, again, when you compare to what they did last season, just because of the opportunity. You can throw Aaron Naismith into that bucket as well. He's not part of this show, but I think he'll have an outstanding season as well. We won't go down into too many statistics, but just know that these guys just have way more to do this season. I think Indiana are going to be competitive in the East. It is a weaker conference. Of course, it's a weaker conference. So I think they're going to be quite competitive. So I don't think there's that shutdown risk for Mathurin, for Nembhard, for the likes of Pascal Siakam as well. So keep that in mind. Around these ADPs, I'm comfortable with. They are in the top 5 in terms of most improved player awards in terms of betting, if you're that way inclined. So keep that in mind as well. For fantasy, I think there's some value here. And finally, we're going to Reed Sheppard. We spoke about Assar Thompson earlier. Freddie VanVleet is out probably for the entire season. That has thrusted Reed Sheppard into a fantastic opportunity. There is a chance that Reed Sheppard doesn't start, and perhaps once Dorian Finney-Smith comes back from injury as well, that Dorian Finney-Smith enters that lineup. But I would expect that Reed Sheppard, he's a high draft pick. Reed Sheppard should be playing. We saw in glimpses last season that he can put up numbers. This guy can ball. In the 3 starts from last year, he averaged 36 and a half minutes. There were some blowouts there. It was right at the end of the season, but 36 and a half minutes, 19.7 points, 3.3 rebounds, 4.7 assists, 2 steals, 0.7 blocks, 49% and 100%. So 49% from the field, 100% from the free throw line. Absolutely outstanding. He's a sharpshooter. He, again, similar to Payton Pritchard, high IQ, this guy. I am liking him at his ADP of 123 on Yahoo. I do like that. 151 on Fantrax. I haven't seen him go beyond that in recent weeks as well. I've seen him getting drafted around that 100, 110 mark. So be prepared to move up. And similar to what we spoke about earlier with a few other guys, know your teammates, know your league. And if you need to, you can go a little bit higher than this ADP. But buyer beware, I guess there is that concern that he may not start, but I still think he has a wonderful opportunity this season. Well, that's my 15 breakout players for this season, guys. Let me know what you think. Some of those are obvious, and like I said at the top of the show, this was just a bit of a validation exercise and making sure that you're not sleeping on some of these guys. Don't forget about them. You may be targeting some. You may have already drafted some as well, but there's some other guys that you just need to be mindful of. So keep that in mind. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out Believe in Fantasy. They've got a whole heap of playlists. So go check out the mock draft playlist, the rankings playlist, and also don't forget to check me out at NBA Fantasy Bible, of course, on YouTube. And I do my best work on X, or some say some of my best work. It's work nonetheless. But thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate it. And I'll see you next time.